All right, welcome to our post-show discussion for Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 7. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Donnie's a little ways behind us, by the way.
So hopefully, Donnie, you will catch up soon.
Yeah, if you want to mute us and finish the episode and then come back, feel free.
Yep. So just for a little background information, once again, if you're watching this on Twitch, you could be watching it with us live right here. If you are, thank you very much. Make sure you follow us here. If you are watching us on YouTube, we do live watch-alongs every Wednesday night, starting between 11:30 and 11:45 for the new episodes of every Star Trek series. All the new episodes. So this is our last week for Discovery until that comes back February 10th. Next week, we will be starting the remaining 5 episodes of Season 1 of Prodigy. I'm really kind of excited for that.
I'm excited for that, and excited that we don't have to do double episodes.
Yes. Yeah, that was kind of a nightmare, just a little bit. So again, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/the_Illuminerdi. If you're watching us here on Twitch, go ahead and click the About, and you will get links to where you can find us on the web and all over social media, so you can follow us and get updates for everything else that we're doing, like Power Rangers content, or Star Wars content, or wrestling, or video game streams here on Twitch, because we're going to be starting more of those up soon. I hope. Working on it.
Sounds fancy.
We'll see. So let's get into chatting about this episode. But to connect, Jamie, what do you think about the main plot line that we were dealing with here, which was how the Federation was going to deal with the DMA?
I'm okay with it. Last week, you and I were talking about how we were really excited that they finally started to move with the A plot line of this season.
Mm-hmm.
And we were really nervous. Were they going to sidetrack it again? I'm glad that they moved forward. It went more into political theater than it did into the action. But I thought they balanced it well enough, and it made sense going into the mid-season break, or quarter season break, I guess, that this would be it. So it's a lot of setup. Maybe overall a little more boring than I was expecting or hoping for, but I'm not disappointed.
Were there any specific moments or things that stuck out to you, or you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that when it comes back, for what was happening, either with I can never remember his name, the Ryzen
Zarkis, something like that.
That's Karakis.
Kevich, right?
No, not Kovich. Kovich. We'll talk about.
Oh no, that's Kovich is Cronenberg.
The Rising guy.
The Rising scientist.
Yeah.
I like his character. I like that it was necessary, I think, for this episode that he was inserted in there, because otherwise it was just going to be kind of cut and dry politics. But having him and Book in there and kind of literally inserting themselves into the conversation, it gave it a little more excitement. What do I want to keep my eye on going forward? I'm eager to see Zora's advancement as a member of Starfleet, kind of, sort of, because we know it. In my mind, I keep going back to that short trek where it's 70 years in the future, and nobody's on the ship, and she's like, "I'm waiting for my crew." So I'm curious to know the evolution of her, as a entity.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to her when we start talking about that plot line. But
that's
like,
the one that I'm interested in.
yeah. So like we were talking about, like, obviously at the end of the episode, we got Book and I'm just gonna call him Caracas because I don't think that's his name, but
Rising Scientist and
yeah,
number 5.
the scientist from Risa that was also a slave under the chain,
Right.
the Orion Syndicate.
Do you think his buddy was the dude that was in the electronic wheelchair?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Which was the Star Trek short for that one? Because I've not seen any of them. I wouldn't mind kind of watching them.
Let me.
They're on Paramount Plus, but you have to search for them because one place in Paramount Plus just has their descriptions, so you have to dig deeper in order to get the playable episodes.
So I've got Runaway, Calypso, The Brightest Star.
It's Calypso.
Yeah.
Calypso. Okay, I'm gonna load that up so I can watch it in a bit.
But
Calypso.
Yeah. What? So sorry, Josh.
Sorry. Yeah. So like we saw that coming. Like as soon as Book dissented.
We saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah. We kind of knew that was coming, and then that obviously came to fruition at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Mark, what were you what stood out to you? Like any specific character moments or plot threads that kind of appeared that you weren't expecting?
To be fair, I literally didn't. I knew everything was going to come along. Like I knew, like this speech with Book, it was going to go straight to the point with, yeah, I want to do it, and then all of a sudden, I know Burnham was going to be like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought this was going to be a thing. The thing with the computer, like I feel like I feel like the entire whole thing is always going to be a thing of what's going to go on. Like as soon as someone turns around and says, yeah, we're just going to get rid of the Zora, we're going to get rid of her, we've got the ability, and they're like, nope. She's a new life form, she's this. I instantly knew what was going to happen with those characters. Now if it was something like Tilly, that engineer and stuff, and it wasn't with Gray, and I can't remember the other one. Adira. If they weren't in it, I would then be more surprised. But I think you can tell as soon as something comes up, have certain characters that are going through things or have gone through things, and then bring them in to be like, hey, we want to bring this to you. I think the Federation, like again, I think because we know what Discovery is like, I just don't want it to like say the next episode where something bad happens with Burnham, and then she has to go off on her own mission, and she doesn't listen. It's just like, well, you just stopped Book from doing his stuff, so why are you doing this? I think that would annoy me because
I don't know that I see that happening. It seems like where Burnham is at now, I don't feel like she's going.
You think she's going to play more by the rules?
Yeah, it seems like her relationship with the president, at least for the past few episodes, has been more of a, no, I get it, I'm not a rogue person
agent
now.
anymore.
I have to play by Starfleet's rules if I want everyone else to play by the rules too.
I think it's not necessarily play by the rules exactly. It's that greater good kind of thing. Like she's always been about the utmost principles of Starfleet. It's just a matter of how she gets to them.
Right.
And I think that's her valuable trait to the president. Question for you, Josh.
Yeah.
And you, Mark, because I know we were talking about it. For a while there, we weren't trusting the president, and then we weren't trusting the Navarin Council, who, the woman that seems to be digging Saru.
Yeah.
What do we think about them?
I go ahead, Mark. I need to collect my thoughts.
I don't really see them now as a thing. I think if, let's say, for example, like we go back to the whole thing where they're talking about it, and it's just like you've heard all the points of like this is going to happen, and then she just goes, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And it's like, but you've listened to my points. But no, I don't care. We're doing this, and it's going to be our way. Then I'd be like, okay, you've now opened up to being the bad guy, because the next episode, it actually happens. And this is the thing that we're going to see it probably anyway. It's like, it was a mistake to do this. We shouldn't have done it. We've opened up Pandora's box to destroy the Alpha Quadrant. We shouldn't have done this. And I feel like you could have blamed the president. Now the main kind of focus has gone on to this arrogant, like, doctor. I don't think when he's turned around to Book and gone, yeah, my friend died, and this was my promise to them. I don't think that's a thing. I think what he is saying is that he knows how to manipulate Book. You've gone through this whole massive planet. That's, your planet's been destroyed. So I know that regardless whatever I say, if I said, yeah, there's a bunny in there, we got to destroy the bunny. Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to do it. So I feel like he's now manipulated. And I reckon in the next episode or near the end, where you see that crack, it's like, oh, you told me we're going into another dimension. He was like, yeah, I lied. I just wanted to see what happened, to kind of prove his curiosity. And I feel like that will go in, which then will probably affect Book to being this nice character to, I'm not going to trust anyone, not even Burnham.
Not even Burnham.
Yeah, I think that's going to go on, like, or he goes off on his own. But I think that's the what we're kind of seeing. That's what I kind of see from it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I did not see the scientists having completely ulterior motives being a thing. Like when he started telling Book that story about how he had this friend and that he wanted to reunite with him, and that they're going to reunite in this other universe that isn't the mirror universe. I was like, wait a second. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't know whether that was a legit story or not. I wouldn't be surprised either way, like whether it is real and that somehow this wormhole is a side effect of his friend's attempt to get to another galaxy or another dimension, or if he actually really does know where it's from and it needs that power source for something else that he is planning to do, like something a little bit more nefarious. During I did really like during the in that A plot. I like that we saw the Federation as a whole now. Like we actually saw the like basically the UN meeting of the Federation with all of the different species and I guess parts of the Federation coming together to make this decision. That's something that we never really saw in Star Trek previously. Like we saw, like some council scenes with Kirk being admonished for something or other, and then being demoted and given a ship, or being promoted and given a ship, or demoted and given a ship, or whatever it was. But in like Star Trek series, outside of like Starfleet headquarters and seeing like a couple of random admirals or whatever, like we never actually saw Starfleet as a whole like actually coming together to make decisions on what the future of the Federation was going to be, or on what their moves were. Like, we never saw council meetings talking about what to do about the Dominion. We saw Cisco talking to an admiral or another captain about what their next moves were. So
and they would always say the council has said, or whatever.
Yeah. So I liked seeing that, and I liked seeing how the debate actually happens.
I gotta say, to follow onto that, I liked that. What I didn't like was how Navarre and Earth all of a sudden were elevated to left and right. It's like, wait a minute, other cultures had joined on before they did. Don't they get a better seat just because Earth and Navarre were original members? All of a sudden they're in great state. I guess Navarre maybe because they've been helping out a lot, but Earth just came back today, and all of a sudden they're up there just because, well, they used to be part of us.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's probably just because it's an Earth-based show, more or less.
Well, as I guess it can't really be based anywhere else. It's not on Titan yet.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was good. I thought it is going to be hard to explain because it didn't bother me, but I felt the episode was a little predictable.
It was very predictable, but it still did bother me.
Yeah, both the A plot and the B plot with what was going on with Zora, like, you know, like we were like seconds ahead of what was happening. We were like, oh, we know what's going to happen here. We know what's going like maybe it did play out exactly how we thought it was going to, but it was more or less the same concept.
I just want more Cronenberg.
Yeah, so let's move on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the plot with Zora and her newfound new species, new life form standing. We knew from the short trek that Mark is going to watch at some point this week that 70 years in the future, Zora is alone drifting in orbit around something, but has become fully sentient at that point. We didn't know that she was considered a new life form and part of Starfleet at that point, though.
No. However, we do know that she absolutely follows Starfleet because she is able to leave if she wants to, and she hasn't.
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about the ship itself becoming a member of Starfleet. I get it, and it makes sense for the course that they're going with this. It just seems not gimmicky, but it's like, okay.
It seems very Spaceballs to me. It's like Mega Maid.
Yeah, like I'll need to see how it actually plays out on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But
I get it though. I get it because you can't tie Zora down by programming anymore because she's or they, I don't know the identity, but Zora is a fully self-aware sentience, so you can't tie them down by any sort of computer programming. So by incorporating them into the rules and regulations, you know, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think something that could have been cool though too would have been separating her from the ship, like actually extracting her from it, and then in however the series is going to end, create some sort of like an event where she had to reintegrate with the ship in order to have faster response time to be able to save everyone from everything, almost like she was sacrificing her independence from being the ship to save the crew.
Well, I would counter argue that
I don't know.
Before that it was even proposed, it didn't seem like she would have wanted that anyway. I want to see that happen, but I want to see it be out of necessity. Like, oh, the only way to get in there is to do this. And then Zora's like, all right, guys, put me into a thing. And then Zora has her physical body.
Right. Well, I mean, in theory,
well, she does have a physical body. Yeah. The ship is her physical body.
Like we saw her do it in Calypso. She has a holographic form that she could easily make.
That she could take. Yeah.
And she would still be the ship, but she would also be.
But at this point in her evolution, I can imagine she'd want to stay the ship because she has not gone that far in her process yet, in her growth, to want something outside of what she has grown up as.
See, when you were talking about, like, when watching it, there were three things. I'm hoping I can remember all three. One, I generally thought that Discovery is now kind of like the Green Lantern planet. That there's a planet that is a green. So that's what
Mogo.
Yeah. I kind of thought that. I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Second, I was just like, could Discovery go on away missions, like beam onto a planet, and it's just like, whoa, holy crap. I think that'd be fun. It'd be different.
That made me laugh.
Every mission is an away mission for Discovery.
It's there. And then when you were talking about like if she could have like if Zora could have a like a hologram, it just reminded me of Andromeda.
Oh
Like
yeah.
so I think that if they went down that way, people would be like, "Oh, you're taking from Andromeda," because I generally thought that be like, "Okay, we got to extract you from the ship, so we're going to put you in a synth body," and then and I was like, "Well, they kind of did that with Andromeda
And
in a way."
this season has already gotten a lot of comparisons to Andromeda.
Really?
Anyway, yeah.
I didn't even know.
It just the jump to the or last season maybe. There were a lot of people talking about how this is a lot like this other show.
I will add in that there was one thing that surprised me. The Cenobite being a member of the Federation. I was very
I was like I want to know who that guy is. Like what species he comes from, what planet he comes from. Because that dude was cool looking, but I was like, what is this?
Oh no, he's totally like he in his hands. It was off camera, but it's one of those puzzle boxes.
Pandora box.
He was probably trying to give it to the White Walker, and he's like, "Come on, dude, come on!" And the White Walker's just like, "No."
Oh man, what if the Cenobite is there because of a bad wish from the Wishmaster, and that's how that's like now
that's how the DMA
the DMA is there because like
we figured it out. The crossover event of the century.
A Cenobite got a hold of the Jinn. I was like, I wish I was all powerful, and the Wishmaster turned him into the DMA. But no, Kovich. Let's talk about him for a second, because there's something else going on with him, right? Like he's not just like any regular member of Starfleet.
What was Section 31? I could see that happening. Like he's part of Section 31, and then when someone turns around and goes like, "Oh, are you going to talk about it?" It's just like, no one asked me, so I didn't say. And it's like classic plot line twist.
Crackpot theory. He's from the future of the future. Mark just froze.
See that? Everyone's frozen. Everyone's frozen. Then I was like, I can see that, but everyone froze.
I think Kovich is just Kovich.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if all of a sudden it's like, oh, he is more than that.
So you think he's a regular human from Earth?
Well, maybe he's not human.
And not hiding anything.
I don't think he's hiding anything. I think he's just a dope ass character who plays it fucking cool. And I'm not one for smoking in scenes, but if he came in with a lit cigarette, I'd buy it.
It'd be a cigar.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I would agree that I think it would be really cool if he was just who he is, but at the same time, because of how he's playing who he is, it feels like he's hiding something.
I think that's just because he's that dope of an actor.
I will accept that. I will just say I don't know that I agree.
That is, you're right.
Let's see.
I hope I'm wrong because it would be cool, but like I don't know. Maybe he's what's the Guardian of Time or whatever? The dude that was the Guardian of Forever. Maybe he's the Guardian of Forever or something
from CSI.
You know, but like nah, he's just fucking dope.
Before we move on to the C plot line, which was very minorly touched upon this week and really only came up at the end of the episode, let's really quick talk about, because we didn't really discuss this in discussing the A plot, the book leaving, and with the rising scientist and more or less betraying Burnham's trust in him.
Right.
We were discussing during our watch along that,
but he did say, "I love you."
Yeah, that we think that this is probably it for them. Do you think this is actually it for them, or do you think she's going to be like, I wish you hadn't have done that, but I forgive you?
Nah, this ain't gonna be it for them. It's gonna work out somehow. I mean, he entrusted her with this cat with grudge.
Mhm.
I think they're good. I think there's definitely gonna be hell to pay, but I think they're gonna be good. If he survives.
I think that'll be a massive argument, and it'll be like, "How dare you?" And he's like, "I'm sorry." It's like, "I know what you mean, but you did this. I know." And then they kiss, and then that's it.
I'm hoping that we don't get a oh well, you were manipulated by the scientist from Ryza, so I forgive you because it wasn't your fault. Like I want consequences for his decisions, like actual like real consequences to.
Well, the consequences, they ain't gonna sleep together for like a month.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Speaking about not sleeping together, Gray is leaving.
Oh,
that's it. Bye. It's like, bye. Got my body.
I did not expect that. And the whole time I'm sitting there wondering, why did they bring in the mentor dude in the recap? Because I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? And then at the end of the episode, oh, okay.
I'm okay with it. I don't think he's gone for good.
No,
but
no.
I also don't think his character is as integral to the overall story arc that
right
he
now,
needs.
no.
Yeah, right now that he needs to be a regular.
I think
I like
Gray.
it. Yeah,
Gray
I like his character.
I do,
but I want to see him grow and become something more. And I think by taking a little bit of time off and coming back, that'll enable him to become like his own person.
Yes, I agree with that.
More so, like he'll be Gray instead of Gray, part of Adira.
Yes.
I think it'll be interesting to see her deal with it though, because this like him leaving, will be the first time she's without him since she was joined.
I don't mean to interrupt, but they.
It's
okay. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they do deal with that disruption in their life. But they have also made the choice that they want to stay with Starfleet because, sorry, stupid tickle in my throat. They made the choice, but they're going to stay there for a little while. Plus, there's going to be contact back and forth all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be like Tilly, where they're gone for a few. He's gone for a few episodes and then he's back.
We
I expect we'll see Tilly soon.
Yeah, because we haven't seen from her since she left for Starfleet. So that's been 2 episodes that she's been gone for, or just the one?
No, I think 2, if not 3.
3.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. We did not see Tilly in the mid-season Oorah just a second ago, did we?
No, we didn't.
Huh.
So that's interesting. I wonder what they have planned for her.
Well, I can't imagine, because they got a good head of steam. I can't imagine. It's 16 episodes, right? Or is it just 12?
Let me double check. I think it might be 13.
Oh, well, I can imagine them taking another 6 to 7 to finish up the storyline.
Let's see. Episodes. I jumped to season 4. Season 4. Oh, yeah, 13 episodes. Well, Jamie. Oh, there you are.
No, that was me. I just hit camera off on Teams instead of microphone back on.
Oops. So yeah, 13 episodes total.
Okay, well, I can see 7 episodes being the amount that it takes to finish the storyline. So
yeah,
maybe we won't see Tilly until next season.
Yeah, I don't know. Be interesting. I really like her character, so it's kind of
I'm sad
if she doesn't end up coming back.
I was really excited to see a little bit of Starfleet Academy action. I really was. Like,
I wonder if she's going to come back towards the end of the season with cadets or Gray
Oh.
or people from Starfleet Academy being like, "Aha, we solved the case," and
Right?
come flying in with the solution.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be dope. I mean, I don't want him as the Deus Ex Machina, to be honest,
Yeah,
but I would like them to somehow, or her to somehow factor back in, because I do like her character.
see Mark laughing.
It's because on Zoom, sorry, on Teams, you're basically headbanging it. So it's just kind of like frozen, but you're just moving back and forth. And it's just like really love Discovery.
Oh, Donnie's saying goodnight, y'all. And
Good
Happy
night,
New
Donnie.
Year.
Thank you again for joining us. We will see you next week for Prodigy. I actually think we're pretty much good to wrap up now too.
I gotta head out myself.
Yeah, we've covered pretty much everything in this episode that I could think of. Let's say, was there anything else that you guys saw that you wanted to bring up that we hadn't?
No, I think that's it. Like this
Cenobite.
entire, yeah, I think this entire episode literally was exactly the same. Like it was so predictable that you knew
Very
exactly what was happening. And
Yeah,
that, I think
it felt short because of how small, I guess, the storyline this episode was. Like there was a lot that happened, but there wasn't a lot of like actual plot development.
No. But it was pretty cool. We got some neat visuals, like you said.
I did
the
not
tower
like
with all of the 1,600 different delegates. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. I do kind of hope once we come back from this break that the pace picks up a little bit more. What like I feel like there. Did you guys watch The Good Place?
Yeah, love that show.
So The Good Place, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the Good Place did a really good job of chewing through plot. Like each episode, like really advanced the storyline of the show, and it was only like 24-minute episodes. Because it was a sitcom more or less. Yeah. 4 seasons told a great story over the course of it, and it
freaking beautiful story.
It didn't feel like any of the episodes were wasted.
Yeah.
Discovery, I feel like they're shorter. It's not 22 episode seasons. It's 13 or 16 episode seasons, depending on the season. But it feels like some of the episodes are just wasting time. Like I don't want to call them filler.
Agreed.
And I don't necessarily think the episodes are bad. Like I enjoy this episode. I just feel like everything that happened in this episode probably could have been distilled down into half of the episode, and we could have gotten more progression with the actual storyline or the plot itself.
I agree.
But your mileage may vary. Other people might have enjoyed some of the stuff being drawn out a little bit more than it needed to be.
I would have personally liked this to have been episode 3 or 4, and the mid-season break to be either they set off the device or species 10C, whatever it is, appears.
Yeah,
right
or they get to the DMA and they're going, they're just about to release the thing or whatever, and that's like to be continued. So something like that.
I would have preferred that as opposed to political theater, and then
it's just I think for me, like last week's episode and this week's episode worked really well together, and I feel like they could, like last week's episode and this week's episode could have just been one episode. But I don't know what the reasons were for dragging things out longer. Again, like none of it was bad. It was just it could have been better paced, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it needs to. I'm glad in a way that they've done this, because it feels like they are moving the plot. Because at times, like the only time that we've only ever seen this is like I think 3 times that they've talked about it, and it's been other storylines. So now we're turning around, going like, okay, we're moving the story forward, but again, it's more. I think you could have had a bit more danger. I feel like it's now getting to the point where it's not stale, but it's just kind of like maybe like original Star Trek where there's no action anymore. You know, they're just talking about it, and I kind of want to see something big. Like I would have loved, as I said before, like you know, have it where the weapon goes off, and it's like, what's going to happen, and then it leads into the next one, which is in a couple, you know, next year, and be like, that's actually really freaking good, and then I would have enjoyed it more than Book's just cheesed it. Awesome.
Right, and I think like knowing that that's what we're coming back to, I'm excited to come back and see that, because we like the end of this episode completely changed like what their plan was. Like their plan was to go and make first contact and try and make a peaceful connection with whoever created the DMA, if that's even possible. But now, because Book and the scientists from Ryza just went off and they're like, oh, we're gonna attack this thing. Now Discovery is going to have to go after them and try and stop them. So now, like, I think, you know, everything's going to pick up a little bit now because their hand is being forced.
I got to be honest too, and I guess you really can't write too good of a reason for it, but I really thought that the Ryzen scientists monologue, well delivered, but the reasoning was kind of weak sauce for me.
Yeah. It like I gotta go.
I feel there's something else that he's not saying.
Yes, yeah. They're like he is absolutely 100% hiding something.
Yeah.
Whether like he might have been telling the truth, but there might be something like I said, there's something more to what's going on.
Agreed.
And I want to know what it is. I'm impatient for it. So.
I think one of the things that I was kind of thinking about is, I know obviously it's mid finale, but in a way I don't really care about Prodigy right now. I would rather they finish Discovery rather than jump to it. But then the same thing was at the same time with Prodigy, where I wanted to watch that more. Like I don't like the whole I now have to wait until a couple of weeks.
I completely agree. I don't understand what their reasoning was for starting Discovery before Prodigy finished.
Well, I wonder if there was any sort of issues with filming, and so they had more of the front half of the season finished and ready, but they needed more time for the back end. And since they already had Prodigy rolled out, maybe they are using Prodigy as a buffer to clean up the last half.
I mean, that's entirely possible, but it still doesn't explain. But that still wouldn't explain why they even decided to start Discovery before Prodigy finished. Like, why did they just show Prodigy beginning to end and then start Discovery? Like, I get that it's two different demographics, but
maybe they hadn't finished Prodigy either.
Maybe, I don't know. It just seemed like the decision for how they aired the episode just seems very bizarre, and I wish I had a little bit more information for why that was even a decision that they made. But
that is
I don't know if I get to talk with the brothers from Prodigy again, or Michelle Paradise from Discovery again. I'll ask, because not in a why did you do this kind of way, but
why did you do it?
Out of curiosity, what was the thought process behind how you scheduled out these episodes? Because I want to be nice to these people and get more interviews with them.
Well, they're very nice people.
Yeah, they are all very nice people. The Hagemans were great. Blue Delvaria was great when I talked to her. To them. Ian Alexander, Wilson Cruz, like everyone that I've talked to from
Ethan Phillips.
Yeah, Ethan Phillips. Tuvix. They're all great people. Great people.
You take that back right now. Tuvix was not great. You take that back.
But As we said earlier, I think that kind of covers this episode of Star Trek Discovery. We will be back next week with episode 6 of Star Trek Prodigy. If you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you follow us on Twitch so you get notified when we go live with our live watch-alongs. And if you're watching us here on Twitch, make sure you follow us on YouTube to get all the other great content that we do there. Before we sign off, Mark, do you have anything that you want to plug that you have coming up on your own personal channels this week or next week?
Nothing at the moment, because I've just literally got back a new PC after at least 3 weeks of torture and pain. So I am currently writing some comic book stuff, some more topic videos. I've just seen a thing on the Illuminerdi that I might want to react to, which is Spider-Man. Sony rumored to be developing Spider-Gwen and Black Cat spin-offs. I love me some Black Cat, so I want to look at it and talk about it.
All right, Fancast, who's your Felicia Hardy? Really quick.
I don't know. I haven't got anyone in mind whatsoever. I probably would have gone
Please
for the
no
girl.
spoilers. Please no spoilers, by the way.
Oh no, so I probably may have chosen the girl who's playing the new Black Widow. I probably would have gone for her.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah. I don't know. It has to be someone good. I can't willy-nilly it, but I have no idea.
I will bug you about this until I get an answer.
If they do Spider-Gwen, then Emma Stone has to be Emma Stone because I think she works really well if she would be up for it.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed her as Gwen Stacy. Jamie, you and I have been talking about for a while now doing more gaming stuff. So hopefully soon we will be able to start branching out and do a little bit more gaming. I've been playing Halo, getting my XP and my Battle Pass score up. But I'm sure we can hop into Star Trek Online or some other.
We could do Halo. We could try to start up Sea of Thieves. Whatever.
Yeah. So we will again make sure you toggle the notifications here so you know when we go live. We'll also make sure it to post about it on our social media, Discord, Twitter, everything that's out there. And I guess that's it for us for this week. Make sure to check us out on Sunday for the new Illuminerdi Wrestling Order, and then we'll be back here again Wednesday. So have a great week and weekend and New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year. See you
Happy New Year.
2020.
Bye.
See you next year.
See you next year.